Hey guys, today we're going to be making a standing rack of rib, or prime rib, and I have it's about a 5-pound prime rib. I got it when it was on sale for Christmas, and it's my son's birthday this weekend, and he loves steak, so that's what we're going to make. Sometimes it's intimidating because these pieces of meat are very expensive, and you are afraid that you're going to ruin it. Honestly, stop thinking about the cost of the meat and just think about the flavor and how you can really bring out all the flavors and make it really yummy. So to start, you want to take your prime rib out of the plastic wrap, and you want to let it come to room temperature. If you take a very cold meat and you put it right into a very warm oven, what that's going to do is take all the juices and suck them out. So you want to make sure that it comes to room temperature and it can gradually cook rather than going from cold to hot. So you want to take it out about 3 or 4 hours before you want to put it in the oven. So I've had mine out for about 2 hours now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the butter rub for it, the garlic crusted butter rub for the prime rib. That way it sits out too while I'm creating the rub. So the rub ingredients are going to consist of 1 whole stick of butter, softened. You want to also get that out probably about the same time that you get your prime rib out. That way you don't forget. Sometimes when you forget about the butter and it's not softened, it can be very difficult to work with. It's okay if it's very soft. It's just going to go right on your prime rib. So no harm, no foul. So we've got the stick of butter, and then you're going to take 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. Just dump it in that bowl with your butter. You have 1 teaspoon of black pepper. And 6 or so cloves of garlic. These cloves of garlic are a little small, so I think I have about 10, but there's some that are small. There's 1 big one in there. So honestly, in my house, you can never have too much garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and chop those up. And with garlic, you never want to just chop. You want to smash first and then chop. The smashing brings the flavor out, and it also makes it a little bit easier to chop. But you don't want to skip this step. And also, if I can urge you not to use pre-minced jarred garlic, there's just a different flavor that comes with that. Use fresh garlic. It's worth it. It really does change the flavor a whole lot when you don't use fresh garlic. So you just want to get your garlic chopped up, minced real nice. Once you have your garlic all chopped up, you just want to add that to the bowl. And next, we're going to do a teaspoon each of fresh rosemary and fresh thyme. And the easiest way to get herbs off of the stem is pick the bigger pieces off, and then, especially with rosemary, you just take the top and pull down, and you pull off all of those pieces off. If you can't, the top pieces, it's kind of hard to do that because it will break off. So once you get to the top pieces, you can just kind of pick those off yourself. All right, I've got my rosemary off the stem, and I'm just going to chop it up. I'm going to make sure that there's not a whole lot of pieces of stem. Sometimes this can happen. You just have a little piece of stem and you just want to pull it off. It gives the final dish a little bit of a gritty texture, and you don't want that gritty texture. On the crust of the prime rib, you just want it to be you want it to have a little bit of a crunch, but not have that like sandiness to it. So taking the stems off really will help a lot. So just chop that up real fine. So I have my 1 teaspoon of rosemary. Add it to that bowl with the butter. And now I'm going to chop up my thyme. You want to do the same thing with the thyme. Just find 1 whole stem, and then you just start from the top and pull off the leaves, and you leave the stem. And then the top leaves are a little bit difficult to do that if you're holding the top. It usually breaks off, so then you just want to pull those top leaves off. Here's our thyme in the bowl. So now with your bowl, with your salt, pepper, garlic, rosemary, thyme, and butter, you just want to take a fork, and with the back side of your fork, you just want to mash that butter up real nicely, and then you just want to mix everything in there real good. Here's a closer look. You just want to make sure that you mix all of that pepper, salt, all the herbs real good and evenly in the butter. Until it looks about like that. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and rub the prime rib. And you want to make sure that your prime rib has been patted down with paper towels, and it's somewhat dry on the outside. One way that you can do this is you can uncover your prime rib, pat it dry, and leave it in the fridge for a day uncovered before you begin to work on your prime rib. But it does help with the drying out process a little bit, and it helps the crust to stay on. I do that when I smoke my prime rib. I did not do that today because I waited a little long to get my prime rib out of the freezer, but that's okay. It's still dry enough to where I can apply this rub to it, and you just want to, with your fingers, kind of gently massage it onto the roast. And you're gonna wanna use all of the butter. It will create a really nice crust on your prime rib. Really infuses those flavors into it. Now that you have your prime rib all buttered up, you wanna take your onion. This is, if you're gonna make the red wine au jus that goes with the prime rib, which in my opinion is always worth making. You want to go ahead and cut your onion, and you want to quarter, and I'm going to put it in eighths and cut it up into eighths, just so I can get my onions all around where my meat is going to be. A little space. I can break up my onions if I want. This is a pretty large pan. Doesn't have to be even, but I guess aesthetically I prefer it that way. So then you just want to take your prime rib, lift it up, put it in your pan. Now you're going to go ahead and get your oven ready.